Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Curious Cat Kitchen. This is Conversations with Cat, where we slow down, plug in, and connect through a real, authentic conversation. Each episode, I sit with a guest and we pull cards from my Tote Talk conversation cards, which will be available soon. And they spark curiosity, truth, and sometimes a little bit of magic. So get comfortable, get curious, and let's get into this conversation. So, we are here with my friend Soribel. And I told you a little bit about her already when I was making this salad. So, this is, I'm going to tell her about it. And you can taste it and let me know what you think. Is that enough?
This is more than enough, but thank you.
So it's a salad that I decided to do with chickpeas, kidney beans, and then this is a soy-free tofu that I dusted with a little bit of cornstarch, and then I put a glaze over it. The glaze is homemade. It's my watermelon tuna marinade that I made into a sauce by thickening it, and then it's a homemade vinaigrette.
Sweet and savory.
Yes, with some pomegranates in it as well. Oh, you know what? I had some vegan feta cheese. That would be good in it. I forgot. I made this recipe up as I was going.
It's okay. It's okay. We can freestyle.
I always do, But yes, some feta cheese I think would be great with it to give it a little bit more saltiness. What do you think? I'm starving.
Very flavorful. I'm not a foodie, but I would definitely have this just because.
It's light, but it packs. It packs nutrition.
Proteins.
Lots of protein.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. I took too big of a bite because, like I said, I'm starving. So, we'll start with the cards. We're going to shuffle them, and then we're just going to pick a question if it comes to, I know, even though everybody or a lot of people may smoke, I know you don't smoke, so if it comes to any cannabis questions, we can just skip it and pick another one.
Sounds good.
Let me grab my drink.
So grab a card and read it.
And then we'll both answer it. Oh,
how opportune. What are 5 things you are grateful for right now?
Oh,
amazing. Amazing. I will start with 5 in that order and descend. Number 5, I am grateful for my passion for what I do, who I'm becoming. Number 4, I am grateful for this life that I chose to live in the ways that I'm choosing to live. Number 3, the way that I have learned to honor myself. Coming from a place of poverty, also understanding that I didn't know what I didn't know and that I now can tell my story without shame. Number 2, learning to love me in this very unconditional way beyond what I have read and living in that moment to see it, right? And number 1, my goodness, I am grateful for being able to choose friends that resemble my family.
Yes.
And in the way that I have been so consistent and intentional about the community I chose and chose me.
Love it. Now I got to follow that answer. That was very well thought of. 5 things I'm grateful for. I don't know if I have it in any order, but definitely the opportunities that I've had in the past, in this past year in particular, because we're talking about right now, and let's say right now. So all the opportunities I've had to travel this year, and not just travel, but have amazing experiences on each of my travels. And one of them was because of you. And then I am grateful for the knowledge that I've gained over the years of just of myself, of life, and as far as you know what I didn't know before. So having knowledge of how to be in this life, um, and the knowledge of the systems that we've been in to break out of it and to I wouldn't say help because I haven't broken out of it, but like to inspire or move other people to want to break out of it. I am grateful for health, definitely, and for the ability to move and have the knowledge to how to move my body. My passion to follow my dreams and what is in my heart, as challenging as it has been, I'm grateful that it's there and still motivating me and pushing me to go forward. And I think this would be top was the connections in my life. All the connections from big to small. I wouldn't even negate any of the ones that I had that was in a way negative in the sense that it didn't last or wasn't, whether it hurt me, whether it didn't work out, whether it was short, whatever the case may be. But all of the connections in my life that I've had, because if I look back on each one, and like certain ones just pop up every time I look back, and it's just it's the reason why I'm where I am today.
That makes sense.
So yes, connections.
Awesome.
The connections. Okay. Well, the next one. Oh. Well, I don't know. Do you want to try to answer this? It says, what are your thoughts on smoking around children and educating them on cannabis? Do you have any thoughts on it? Or do you want to skip it?
Yeah, I'll skip it because I don't feel like I have enough intel or information. Juicy.
But what is a new skill you'd like to learn?
Ooh, a new skill. So I've always been this like jack of all trades, master of none, but that's also a lie because I've mastered so many things. I think I would like to have the ability to what we are in this very fast-paced artificial intelligence world. I would love to have the skill to be able to discern innovation from artificial intelligence quicker. I have, especially in my field, right? The amount of work that I have had to really consider, even in grading papers. And yeah, some of it is like super dope, like the things that I read, but I am questioning everything.
Right.
I'm questioning everything.
Like, is this from you or is this from AI?
Right. And it's now gotten to the point where I spend so much more time trying to investigate what's real and what's not.
Is there a way to find out though? Like,
I mean, we have some platforms at the university that assist us in kind of, okay, here's what the tricks, quote unquote, are. But people are smart and they can go about that and around that in a way that even we probably don't catch it. And I'm all for it. Like I want to integrate it and embed it in ways that are helpful and useful. But I also come from a world where plagiarizing is illegal. And it's like the biggest insult.
Where we used to have to cite everything we wrote in the essays.
And still, like, I still think APA, MLA, and every other source of reference and citing. So, you know, I'm big on also making sure that everybody gets credit for what they've done and who invented. I'm not walking around using other people's work and saying it's mine. It's a dangerous world, and I just wish that I had the skill to just understand.
Does that skill exist though? Isn't an existing skill to determine what is real and what isn't?
So here, but then it's also a bigger question, right? Because I can also use, yes, it's artificial intelligence, but what about before artificial intelligence? The reality is that sometimes we are bamboozled by just people's personalities, and that too is not artificial intelligence. And how do you discern that from, one of the things that Diana and I speak about often is I don't want small talk.
Right.
Give me big talk. Give me that luxury.
We have toe talks.
Understanding more than just this, what do you
Surface.
do?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care what you do. In fact, are you a good person? And how do you determine that? And how do you scale that? And are you doing it when nobody's watching? So yeah, I guess I want to discern superficiality as well. How do
Let me know when you learn that skill.
So I guess those are high wishes. I don't know if they're solutions yet.
Let me know when you learn that skill, please. I would like to know.
Yes.
Or I would really like to know. Mine is actually, I was thinking about it on the way here because when I was filming this episode for this salad, and I just, when you film something and then you kind of reflect back on it and you think back on it, I was like, God, like it was rough. Like it was rough in the way I was speaking and not judging myself, but critiquing myself to find out how I can improve, right? Like critiquing in the way of like, okay, well, this is what you need to improve on, and certain things like that. So I was thinking about that.
But where does that come from?
The critiquing or the
like the real-time critique?
Just I would say on how I would like to speak and sound, in the sense of, so the skill that I want to learn, this would make more sense, is to public speaking. So it's been brought up, it's been like kind of playing there in my mind to join
Toastmasters.
Yeah, to join Toastmasters. And then it keeps like every time it interrupts, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And then I don't end up doing it. So I think the new skill that for the new year that I really want to put in is to join Toastmasters so I can speak better. And speak without the ums, speak without the, just to speak better.
Yeah.
Because communication is big for me, and public speaking and communication kind of ties together very much so, because they're all speaking. So I definitely want to be able to, just speak better.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
I'm going to shuffle.
Okay. You don't want to pick what's on top. See, you just got to be different. Just got to be different.
You're going to love this one. What makes you feel loved? See, are you happy I shuffled?
Consideration. Consideration, I think, is Because if I pick a particular thing, like, oh, someone does this for me or someone, whatever, it all boils down to, I think, the basic of consideration. If someone considers me, um, whatever it is, like the other day when I was delayed in Puerto Rico, a friend of mine that put me up, and I can't even, she's now a friend, but she was an acquaintance and we spent the time in Tortola together. Love her, but we still didn't really have that, I guess, when you think of friendship, the time spent. But she had so much consideration. Like when I got there late and she ordered food for me, like that melted my heart completely, entirely. I was just like, oh my God.
That was a beautiful story.
Yeah. So definitely consideration makes me feel loved, because when someone considers you, they're thinking about you and they're thinking on how you would receive it, how you would react. And that speaks volumes.
Well, this is a beautiful question because, it's one of those things where we come to a certain point in our life where we start to thinking, what is it that we have been taught that love looks like?
Yes.
Right. And the
Yes.
expectations that we had of what love looks like.
And how it should act and be like.
But receiving that love in the way it's looked like has not fulfilled me. Right. So I 1,000% agree with you that consideration is up there. I would also, because I am such a random person. And the
That might be an Aries trait.
It is. And the overthinking part of me, I would say that those thoughtful gestures when they're least expected.
Consideration. It's consideration.
Yeah. And they're so underrated. So underrated.
Because it doesn't have to be something big, right?
No.
When it's consideration, when it's just like what she did was small, but because she thought about it, and it was like, oh my God, like I wasn't even thinking about it. It was such a day that I wasn't even thinking about it. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay. So I'll give you an example. This trip to New York, I am completely obsessed with my nephew, Ace, aka Dubs. And he asked his mom to bake me a cake. And all she had was keto cake. So when I get there and I see this cake with sprinkles, and he said, oh, we need a candle. I said, a candle for what? It's not my birthday. He said, but a cake is celebration. So because he thought it was necessary to celebrate with a candle, we had
A cake with candle.
A gratitude cake with candle. And we screamed something silly because happy birthday wasn't it. But just the thought of a 4-year-old kid, I want to bake a cake for her. That was it. And of course, because I'm obsessed with him, it made it even better.
Aww.
So, yes.
Yeah. So something like, exactly, unexpected.
Unexpected for sure.
Unexpected thoughts of kindness. No, not even kindness, because that's not kindness.
I don't know. I mean, I don't even
unexpected gestures.
Yeah. And it's one of those things like, you know how when folks give, they gift gifts that really symbolize who you are, instead of gifting a gift because they want it for you. So the thought and the time, and to your point, the consideration that goes into it truly represents a symbol of this person that is, again, it's a selfless act. Take me out of the equation to think of this person that I want to show affection, gratitude, and my version of love. Yeah. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'll take again. I'll take it again. This is fun.
See, you want conversations? This is definitely not surface. What is this one?
So this is interesting because it it can be about cannabis, but I'm not good, and I can answer it. So describe your most memorable high. Why does it stand out for you?
Okay. So answer it as just like a high of like, okay, gotcha.
Mhm. Um, my most memorable high. Hmm. So it was my first solo trip, and it was Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember hiking and finally getting to the very top. And I didn't think so much of what my next steps were. And I just kept going and going and thinking about everything else but the next step in front of me.
Mm.
And I also thought about when I danced as a kid. I remember those were my memories that I was going back to as I was taking this hike and thinking, if I had the discipline as a kid who was severely shy
Mm-hmm.
to perform in front of thousands of people and never looked at the audience and just looked straight ahead, I can complete this hike. And the mountains are crazy high. So I remember getting to the top of that mountain and yes, thinking like, hot damn it, I gotta go back down. But getting up there and the perseverance, it took me a bit, but I didn't think about while it was happening what I was feeling or if I was going to get tired. I just kept relating it to, nope, you've done this in other forms. You're going to get up there and you're going to appreciate the way that you feel when you finally reach.
That's what kept you going.
And that's what kept me going.
Okay.
Yes.
That's great. I just want to point out that that's a great perspective of it because my intention obviously was the actual high, but I
have a
appreciate.
story, but it's not a wonderful feeling. It's not.
So I appreciate the perspective of being able to view this question in a different way for someone that doesn't smoke. So I definitely do appreciate that. And you know what? I'll answer along your perspective of that rather than the actual high that was most memorable because I don't know if I have a most memorable high even for that. And I think the one that comes to mind that is the most memorable was not a good high either.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty bad. I was begging to come down. So it was not a most memorable in that sense. So I don't know if I have a most memorable high in that respect that I can think of. But to answer it in the perspective that you had, I would say I want to say it's more a feeling of, it's not accomplishment, it's just more a feeling of love. Um, and I would, there is quite a few because solo trips were definitely high, but I think the one that I would say is most memorable that I remember because it was kind of like the first time I felt it was at your mom's in DR. That fullness of love
Wow.
and joy and happiness and seeing.
Thank
Aw,
you.
of course.
you. My goodness.
But it really was. Like if I think back that fullness of in my heart and the gratitude I felt, and just it was just surrounded by love and joy. And I think that was the first time I can say I truly felt that in everybody around. Like, you know, in this unconditional way where my heart just, oh, it was just full and overflowing, and it was a beautiful feeling. And it will always be held in my heart as a high, like a most memorable feeling of like high, like, oh my God, I'm in this incredible place with these incredible people that are just full of love, and to experience it is definitely a high. Like I sat there like, and you know, everybody we were talking that was not your family sat there, and we were talking, and we're like, I'm sitting there just cheesing as I'm watching you guys dance, and just like cheesing watching it like this, you know, my like cheeks were hurting from cheesing just watching you guys dance, and like and love each other in your way. But it was so beautiful, it just expanded to
wow. And I must thank you for that, because I and I've shared this with others, but I think you were the one that emphasized it in a way that truly brought me back to my fortune. Like I've taken this for granted. Like this is what I grew up with. This is what I know. I tell this story all the time, and I don't know if you've ever been to a Dominican baby shower.
No.
But it has nothing to do with the parents to be. It is about getting dressed up, showing up at like 10 p.m. in your best get up, and it's a fete that has nothing to do with the parents who are about to give birth to this beautiful little person. And so the first time that I was invited to a shower that started at noon, I reached out like, yo, the time is wrong. And they're just like, what do you mean? I was like, who does a baby shower and throws a baby shower at 12 p.m.? Like, this sounds madness. And they're all looking at me like, no, you're the madness. And I was like, I've never been to one. And I was in my 30s, and I was just like, nah, this is a hoax. Like, why would anybody do that?
Normal time.
But... Yeah, and then when I started going to, I guess, non-Dominican baby showers, a little underwhelming for me, but
there's no dancing, there's nobody dressed up. Like,
no,
what is this?
Like the over buffet of foods of all types and kinds, and the celebration of cultures coming together, and just because. So again, because that's all I knew. When you mentioned it to me, I came back, and still to this day, I'm very honored that I was able to share this. I wouldn't trade it for the world. No. I wouldn't, in the way that I've even learned to love in spite of my experiences. I go back to the roots of where I come from, because it is an abundance. Like, it is love in abundance. And it is just, again, going back to the community. It's once you're a part of us, you get that too. And it's infectious. Who doesn't want it? So.
Exactly. It is infectious. So that's why I was sitting there grinning like a lunatic, like watching, grinning like a crazy person. I realized I didn't take a picture of the food. So I'm going to have to pause the video.
Okay.
And then I'm going to take a picture of it. So next card. Okay. Oh, this one is good. We're getting good questions.
Funner.
What does freedom mean to you?
Oh my goodness. I just wrote about this. So as you know, I'm like, one of my biggest accomplishments was writing my book. And while I am out here shopping for an agent, I would say that book was, or this book that's going to be out and shared with the world in no time.
Give the name of it.
It is. Yeah, I am.
Definitely.
It's the working title right now. It's Journey to Kintsugi, which is the Japanese metaphor of falling apart to find yourselves back within the golden cracks when you're rebuilding, right? And that was the moment that I realized that was it. That was my freedom. Letting myself be told through this experience of breaking apart to come back up. And what I want to do with that freedom is share it. The world deserves to know. And the book is truly encompassing of what our systems, to what you mentioned earlier at the top of the conversation, have not allowed many of us to do because of access. So we think about federal policies that have been in place, have been written for us without us. I'm thinking back to a little before the LBJ era, and I'm speaking of the United States. I know that you're from Canada, so it's also in my background looking at what these policies have actually not done.
Right.
And how they've impacted us and affected us. What I ended up, as I was writing and dissecting these policies and interpreting them in the most layman terms so that anybody could understand them, I found myself in these policies. And along the way, started to write my own memoir, and how every year that I was in school and different policies were in place, what that actually meant for the other kids that looked like me. And so I write from everything that I remembered and recalled, from my very first day in kindergarten and being placed in a bilingual class because my mother spoke Spanish and they thought I didn't speak English. And so they had me in a bilingual class, and my mother, not knowing how to deal with systems of bureaucracy, rolled up in there and told the principal, I did not come to this country to have her in a bilingual class. And my mom, who's, as you met her, she's not by any means like even average height. She's petite. She's petite square. But she ran up in there and I'm just like, why are you yelling and looking up at somebody and yelling? And she just fought. She fought because she said something just didn't feel right. Like, why are you only learning Spanish when I have been teaching you that? And then along the way, it was just other moments of injustice and inequity, and really looking at my trajectory and how I even ended up in this career path. Not by chance, even though if I can do this all over, I would be a dancer for sure. But a Caribbean mother thinks that dancing is a hobby, and I hope I'm making her proud. And actually, I know I'm making her proud, but my creative side was suppressed, right? And so, as I wrote this, I recognized that my creative side came back out, right? And I use every creative force to not just speak about things in a way that was academic. In fact, I tried so hard to stay away from the academic terminologies because, can I curse?
Yes.
Okay.
We're keeping it real.
That shit is for the fucking birds. Like, academic language is not for us. And yes, I am part of the system, and I have done everything possible, not just to be authentic and genuine, because those words too have kind of lost their power, but in my most organic way, let everyone have access to the things that I have learned, because what's the point of me learning something to keep it to myself?
Exactly.
And so here is what I've done with my freedom. I have finally let out so many of the ways in which we can not just fight the system, but to learn from one another. And it's okay to say, I don't know, I don't understand. You don't look any less smarter or sound any less intelligent. And certainly, the more I have learned, the higher my curiosity, the more I recognize I don't know shit. Because I have
None of us
focused,
do.
I have focused so much on mastering these one frame of mind things and subjects and items that I recognize it is like a minuscule molecule in comparison to what's out there.
100%.
So yeah, my freedom is being shown and will be shown through this book.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Freedom means to me, I've always been a very rebellious person. Rebellious in the way of like, I'm just going to do it my way. I don't care what you say. I'm going to find a way. So in that, I know I always need, certain like things in my life for me to have flexibility, including from where I worked. I bartended for many years, not only because like I knew I couldn't do a desk job. I knew I couldn't do a 9 to 5 because it's so inflexible. I like to be able to do what I want to, whenever I want to, um, and move the way that I want to, unapologetically and in every single way. From, even as you have said, even if I don't know something in a space, and just be like, what does that mean? Tell me, explain that to me, and not have any shame, not have any guilt, not have anything, feel any way, just completely unapologetic of who I am and embracing who I am for all the um, perfect and imperfect stuff. And obviously, the imperfect stuff I'm working on, but at the same time, it's still there, it's still present. And I want to be able to be safe enough everywhere I am to be free to express that and to be myself.
I mean, that is priceless.
Yes.
Because so many of us have not allowed other people's thoughts, judgments, and concerns to free us.
It traps us like, oh, I don't want to do this because what are they going to think? And I make it a point to tell my girls, like, always speak your truth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't be afraid. Just speak. It's, you don't have to be rude. You don't have to be disrespectful, but say what you think if you disagree with something. And because that, I think that is so important, and there's such a freedom. It is a freedom in just being able to be yourself and to speak yourself.
Yeah, the colonized mindset syndrome is much harder to break and decolonize, especially when the systems are still perpetuating it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think our generation and the generations that are after us are understanding the importance of breaking those cycles.
Starting to, I think,
Right.
a lot more.
The conversations are getting spicier.
Mm-hmm.
We are challenging, I recently saw, actually yesterday, a video about a political representative out of Africa who told the other political congressmen, I guess the equivalent of congressmen and representatives, that they too were the problem. Because instead of upholding their leadership, they were being constant and consistent in the ways that it was always done.
Mm-hmm.
And that if you are going to take on these roles of doing what's right in leadership, then why don't you do what's right in leadership?
Right.
And break away from what has happened? And, I always joke around, joke about like remembering growing up and showing up and having to sit like this, or with the big poofy dresses, and my mother would only allow us to drink clear drinks, so Sprite and 7-Up, which I couldn't stand, but because it wasn't going to dirty us,
the
right?
dress, right?
So, or leave a stain. And I think about those moments, and now I'm just so grateful that we can have these conversations with our mom and remind her of those moments and her acknowledging and saying, I had no idea what I was doing. And I was going by the unscripted script that I was taught. So yeah, those colonized mindsets need to go all the way off.
Yeah. Breaking free from that is true freedom.
Yeah.
Because we are definitely in a mind trap.
Ooh, this is fun. This one's a good one for you. What would people be surprised to know about you?
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
What would be um what do you think people would be surprised? I think, well, people tell me this all the time. Is that people are surprised that I'm shy. That I'm like really shy. And I've learned to break out of it as I get older, because that is something I want to overcome, in the sense of just being able, because if connection is important to me, I can't, shyness comes from wanting to connect, but also an insecurity. So I want to be able to, yeah, people think I'm shy because, or that like I'm a bitch. Because if I don't know you, I have a very like, I may have a slight resting bitch face when I'm not focused on anybody, or I don't know. You know, I try to smile more. But yeah, people think I'm are surprised when I'm shy, because they're like, but you, when I talk to you, I was like, yeah, when you get a conversation going, I can talk. But to start a conversation, I'm like, what do I say? Like I'm always in my mind of like, what do I say? How do I go? Like yes, I get so nervous. Oh my goodness.
More often now when those moments come.
But it's only with people I don't know, and people that like I may want to meet, like if it's a guy, or if it's just someone that I admire and I want to go up to say something to them, I would tend to not, because in my mind I'm going crazy of what to say and how to approach them over and over in my head. Oh my God. Yeah, I do that. Yeah.
Huh.
What about you? I don't think there's anything.
I know. I was going to ask you, what do you think?
I don't think there's anything surprising. I would hear about you and be like, be surprised. I don't think there is.
I think I have an uncanny ability to, like, people just get really comfortable around me and will tell me things that as they're saying it, they're just like, did I just fucking say that to you?
I don't think that's surprising though.
Sometimes I don't want to know.
But that's not surprising to know about you. That's not something surprising. I can see people doing that because of your demeanor and the way you talk. You have a way of making people feel safe.
Well, I'm happy about that, but knowing is responsibility, and sometimes I don't want.
You don't want that responsibility.
Nah, I'm
like,
good.
ah,
I'm just like, haha, you be wildin'. I don't know if I'm ready to have that. You could have kept that one, but I'm so appreciative, because it always happens too when I least expect it. It's just like, I wasn't ready, but let me keep a straight face. Like, oh, thank you.
Thanks
Sounds
for sharing
about
that.
right. Yeah. So, yeah, I honestly, what would you say?
Well, I don't know if there's things I don't know about you, then I can't speak on it.
I did. I don't know if I shared this with you, but in New York, I had a stint of, again, the creative in me, and I was interior decorating for a minute, and it was quite profitable, quite profitable, to the point where I was just like, "Is this real?" And then it started with my really close friends. And of course, I wasn't charging them, but it became like my muse. Like, look what I did, look what I did, look what I put together. And my very quaint apartment in Brooklyn, every time I walked in, I always felt like I was walking, and again, I live in Flatbush, so it's definitely concrete jungle. Um, but I always felt like I was walking into the most quaint cabin, like a cabin, like it was my little cabin.
Mm-hmm.
And then this looks like the cover of a magazine. So yeah, I did that for a bit. So that's the only fun
Yeah,
fact,
I
I
did not
guess.
know that about you, and I need you at my place. It needs a overhaul
Yeah, I
for some reason.
did.
So that is something interesting about me. I'm super creative, as you know. I don't look at, but clothes wise, like when I can put things together, I
You
can draw. I'm super creative.
that
But
you
when
do.
it comes to interior decorating, I'm like, something got cut off there.
Oh, yeah, your color schemes
Something.
on you, from your hair, from the crown to the roots. You're always on point. All the chakras are checked.
Yeah, like creative, I'm super creative, but when it comes to spaces and interior spaces, there's a block. Like I cannot get it together. I cannot see, like, space. I walk into space, I was like, oh, this is nice. I like it, but for me to put it together, there's a block there. I'm not meant to do interior decorating for some reason out of
I
all my
wouldn't see
creativity.
that. I wouldn't see that from you.
I
Mm-mm.
know.
Not at
So
all.
yeah, that is one thing. I cannot interior decorate for shit.
Hmm.
I don't know why. Um I was gonna say something else, but I don't remember. All right. One more?
One more.
Oh. What was the last book you read?
Kamala Harris, 107 Days. Oh my gosh. So it's it's not surprising that with the work that I do in yes, this social justice, equity driven world that I'm a part of, listening to her voice as she counted down the days to the election was both empowering and one of the most fearful experiences, and speaks volumes of where we are in terms of progress in this country. And many of us are just like, we got to get up and leave and get dual citizenship. Um, and yeah, I agree that we should have dual citizenship more for access.
Mm-hmm.
It's always great to have the ability to just say, I'm going to get up and go and I can settle somewhere else,
Mm-hmm.
because why not? Um, but I'm very aware that if not us, then who? Right? And the opportunity gaps that are now being presented to us because of the fuckery that we're living.
Mm-hmm.
And I can sit here and lay out reminders of all the negative bullshit that we have been experiencing since before the election.
Mm-hmm.
But I will continue to be hopeful. I will also continue to be very realistic.
Mm-hmm.
And I will continue to remind myself that in order for there to be any moment of what we can experience as close to healing, because this entire country needs therapy right now.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
We need to break the fuck down. Like, going back to my book, like, it is definitely the journey to Kintsugi. I want to be a part of those gold cracks that come back when we finally come to terms with this isn't working. And more than that, I think that that book reminded me too of the inventory that I had to do with my own circles
Hmm.
and who to keep close
Mm-hmm.
and who to pay very close attention to. A lot of what she mentioned wasn't surprising,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it came to her relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So in those relationships, I recognized how much of that have I seen in my own life.
Okay.
How many of the folks that I have loved hard on um, have just expired. Their seasons have expired, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for far too long, I just wasn't listening, right? And I cannot imagine being around an environment of anybody, people, a person that feels that as long as it doesn't happen to them, they're
They're
okay.
okay.
And that's not my fight. And I want to continue being part of the brick by brick. If it fell apart, okay, let's go back. Because what is the point of community?
Right.
Um, and I come from that, and I only know that, and I don't want to be torn apart or removed from that because that becomes the norm. That's not my norm. And I don't and I'm okay standing in the sideline or I'm okay saying, now I'm good. That's not the pressure or the peer pressure that I want to be a part of
Right.
ever.
Right.
And so that book for me left a huge impression in what we are going to be able to do and what we're going to be forced to do
Mm-hmm.
as a result of the decisions that the majority has made.
I actually, two things when I was listening to you. Um, it's interesting when you mentioned, you come from community, so that is always important. And I didn't come from community. I was
Mm,
always like a solo black sheep that I was always moving here and there and everywhere, but not coming from community has me craving community and has me
mm,
understanding how important and how much that is needed in everybody's lives. Yes, you can do a lot on your own. There's a lot you need to do solo and to find that independence. But at the same time, it's a balance, right? Life is a balance. So then within that independence, there's also community. And both support each other, for your growth. They
mm.
both support your growth. So yeah, that was interesting. That I was like, it's interesting. You come from community, I didn't, and we're both. That is something that is so
In the
important to us
same community.
in the same community. But as far as Kamala Harris, as you know, I'm not political at all. Um, I don't get to, I don't go and seek out their backgrounds or anything like that because there's a part of me that do believe that they're all the same.
Mm,
Um, but what I do find out, like obviously Obama's amazing because you get to know their heart, their integrity, and that's what I found. I listened to her on DOAC, and I found her very relatable in who she was and things that I didn't know because I didn't follow her
mm.
and I didn't listen to her. But and I think she was promoting the book too, but in just who she is and what she talks about, and it became a lot more relatable than just a political figure, and that's what I enjoyed like about her as she wasn't just a political figure
Yeah.
and just doesn't play that part, but she's a person that we can all relate to and has experiences that we can relate to and has dreams and hopes that we can all relate to. So
And she feels reachable, even
yes,
though.
exactly. She's achieved a lot, but she's also like right here with
Mm-hmm.
you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that is something that I liked about her, or I like about
Yeah.
her. Last book I read, I hope I remember the name correctly, but I believe it's called The Mindful Body. It was part of my book club, and it was a good book. There was a lot of she referred to a lot of things that she was talking about. I felt like most of the book was about um, case studies, referring back to case studies that she's done in reference to what she was talking about, as far as how we can heal ourselves, how this healthcare system of how we rely on it, but it doesn't give us all the information of how we can heal ourselves. And how the mind plays a part in the healing. Obviously, as we know, what we think is how we feel, and how it affects all of us, all of us as far as like us as a whole. But the one thing I would say that stood out in the whole book, that just was like, ooh, they clicked. It was that, because we're always trying to make a choice and trying to make the right choice. And what is the right choice? There's always like, what is the best choice? There's all these choices, but what is the best one? And what she said was, it's not about making the right choice. It's about making a choice and then making it right.
Ooh.
Yeah. I was like,
wow.
oh.
Wow.
So once you make a choice, you make the commitment that that's your choice and you make it right. Rather than trying to find, to decide which is the better choice or which is the right choice. Isn't that powerful?
That is, and it's very aligned to who you are. Because you have chosen your own path, whether it was the road less traveled or beating your old drum or no drum and just walking with the sticks.
Just walking with sticks.
Your ass will be like, yep. Walking and whining with one stick. Yep. I can see that, how that's so like relatable to you.
Oh my goodness.
But it makes sense, because why do we have to reference somebody else's definition of
right and wrong?
Because it might not be right for us.
Exactly.
Wow, that is powerful.
Yeah. That part I took from it, and I was like, I don't remember anything else in the book.
Yeah.
Everything was stuff that I have heard, but that just it hit right here, and I was like, oh my God, it's not about making the right choice, but making a choice, just making a choice, and then because you made that choice, just make it right.
That's clutch.
So, yeah,
this was so much fun. Fed my brain.
I love it. Oh, and I got to know more about you a little bit more. Not too much, but a little bit more. And I think it's just good to have these conversations to, touch on questions and topics that we might not touch on or think about.
And it also reaffirms why we're in each other's lives. Two Aryan fires.
Two Aryan fire, but one March, one April. So different in ways.
Fire, though.
We're definitely fire.
Thank you for this.
Thank you for being on.
Of course.
Thank you so much, everyone, for sitting with us today. I hope this conversation sparked something, opened something, or simply made you feel more connected. If you enjoyed this, please like the video, subscribe, and share it with anybody that you know would love this energy. And you already know, if you want to have a conversation with me, let me know. Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and stay true.